In this tutorial, we'll explore how to add expense reports to your invoice. To add expense reports to an invoice, navigate to the Expense Reports tab and select Add Expense Report. This brings up a window in which you specify the program to which the expenses apply, along with information about your business trip. Select the program by clicking the Program drop-down list and clicking on the appropriate program. Select the start and end date of your expense report by clicking the Dates drop-down list and clicking on the appropriate dates. By default, these dates will be set to match the billing period of your invoice. Note that you will only be able to enter expenses within this date range, so make sure to choose a date range that encompasses all of the expenses for that trip. Next, type the purpose of your trip, as well as the destination city and the party or parties that you visited. Note that this information is required by the client, and you will be unable to add the expense report without filling out these fields. Some programs will require that you enter a charge number and/or the name of a client contact who requested the work. These fields will automatically appear when you select such a program. Note that when these fields appear, they are also required to add the expense report. Once you have entered the information, click OK to add the expense report to your invoice. You will then see it listed on the left. If you have other expense reports, you will see them listed here as well. The selected expense report will be highlighted. On the right, you will see the information you entered about the expense report, as well as a list of expenses within the expense report. This list will initially be empty. To add expense line items to your expense report, select Add Expense Line Item. This brings up a window in which you specify the category of the expense, the date the expense was incurred, the amount of the expense, and an optional description of the expense. Note again that the date the expense occurred is bounded to the date range of your expense report. Once you have entered the information, click OK to add the expense line item to your expense report. The expense will be added to the expenses table in the lower right. Some expenses, such as per diem expenses, are recurring. For such expenses, you may wish to enter them once and then copy them throughout your expense report. To do this, select the checkbox that says Copy this expense for a total of 1 day. Doing so will activate the day counter. Increase the counter until you've reached the desired number of days. After you have entered your expenses, you can review the expense reports you've created by navigating to the Review and Submit tab. The expense reports will appear beneath the Billable Hours section. In this view, you will see a more concise presentation of your expenses. Note that as part of this presentation, the amounts have been rounded to the nearest dollar, though the exact amounts are maintained within your invoice. The date to which the expenses apply is listed above each column. If you hover your cursor over the date, it will show you the day of the week. Further, weekends are denoted with darker backgrounds. Corrections can be made by navigating back to the Expense Reports tab. Here you can make changes to existing line items and remove unwanted line items. To find a line item, you may wish to sort the expenses. To do so, click on the header of the column on which you want to sort. Clicking the same column twice will reverse the sort order. Once you have found the line item that you wish to edit, to make changes to the line item, either double-click the line item or right-click over it and select Edit Expenses Line Item. The row then becomes editable, allowing you to make your edits. When you have made your edits, save them by either pressing the Enter key or simply clicking outside the row. To cancel edits, press the Escape key. To remove line items, select the line item or items that you wish to remove, then either press the Delete key or right-click over the selected items and select Delete Expense Line Item. Click OK to confirm that you wish to remove the line items. To select a range of line items, click on the first line item in the range, then click the last line item in the range while holding down the Shift key. To add non-contiguous line items to your selection, click each line item while holding the Control key. That's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll cover how to enter accomplishments.